Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Check this out. At the most recent Shelby Hamfest I went to, I was able to get this. This is one of the few Radio Shack shortwave radios that I haven't owned yet. This is the Realistic DX200. It is a cool looking radio from an era where radios needed to be cool. Anyway, let's check this thing out. It is in excellent shape. The casing here, this anodized casing, has got a nice crinkle coat paint job on it, and it's in really nice shape. Here on the back you can see the original cardboard, vented cardboard, or it's not really cardboard, but it's like pegboard almost, is in really nice shape. And we do have our 110 cord here, but it also has the ability to run off of, actually this one doesn't. This one is completely off of regular voltage only, but it does have hookups for antennas, and several of them. So we have a mute, a ground, a long wire, and a high wire, a short wire antenna, and then it also has an external speaker. This tag on the back here says Realistic DX200 communications receiver, model number 20-205. The frequency range is 150 kilohertz to 400 kilohertz, 520 to 30 megahertz, and the power is 12 watts. So you could operate this for a good long time on a battery backup or something like that if you needed to. The front, of course, is where all the fun is, and we have a couple of different dials here. So we have a tuning and a bandwidth dial here. I'll get into this when we plug it in and try to get some stations on it. We have an antenna trim button here. We do have a nice analog meter as well. A&L, automatic noise limiter here. A BFO pitch, so frequency, drift compensator, and also for sideband operation, you're going to use that as your clarifier. Then we have our band select here, different bands. Over on this side, we have the RF gain, we have volume / on and off, and then we also have our sideband CW AM mode there. And then this little switch here is monitor or standby, it says on this particular unit, but the same and out there. Speaker on the front, regular size phono jack for earphone listening here on the front as well. And this is all backlit. There is some movement here, so if you had a little bit of drift, you can recalibrate manually, which I think is kind of cool. And thickness wise, it's not as thick as the 300DX by any means. I think the 300 was probably a good 3 inches longer, and the 302 being the last of this type. Now I have played with a 160, and I have played with a 100, and I have played with a 302. And of course, right now I use the 394 as my main unit, the last of their base style shortwave receivers. But this one here I've never owned. I haven't seen a lot of videos on this particular type. I'm looking forward to plugging it in and playing with it. Problem I have is that I'm going to have to use an alligator clip to go between these two because I don't have a regular wire hookup. I have a PL259 style hookup, which the 302 and the 394 used. So I'm going to bring it over to the table and we are going to plug it in. I have not tested this thing out. I'm looking forward to seeing if it will work. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Got it here on the bench, and it's pretty nice. It's in good shape, as you can see. So I said that was a standby mode, but that's actually standby. This is a 500 kilohertz switch out there, so they call it the calibrator. I don't have a manual for this thing, although I'm sure there's one online for it. So this is our band spread. These older ones, like the 302, are the same way. A lot of fine tuning to just really dial it in. We have antenna trim that we can change a little bit if we're using a long wire antenna. Of course, our clarifier there, our band select, meter. Now there has been a lot of solar activity, almost too much, so it's been drowning out a lot of the stations here. But let's go ahead and turn it on. Right on, and you can see dial is backlit. These are all backlit as well. I don't know, yeah, you can see that. So as we change through, that's going to show us what band we're on. Here's our tuning, and again, you can change this. So if you find a channel and you're like, oh, that's not actually where it says it is, you can move this slightly so that you're calibrated with that. Then you make your fine adjustments here with your band spread. Pretty nice. RF gain, volume, of course, and our speaker. And let's go into AM. We'll put the gain at about 7. You can see how much static is coming in. We'll start over at 13.
real faint signal there, but something on the AM band. There's a nice signal on AM.
Person knew that we didn't have adequate space for them. Y'all don't know that? He's not that dumb.
Got a nice strong signal here.
She knew that too. Well, she loved him enough to come with him. Well, that greatly impressed me too. Talking cheap. But when she came over, that said it all.
Quality strong station. That signal's pegged out. A lot of interference today, of course, from a recent solar storms, kind of wiping out the whole first half of the bands here. And I'm also getting some digital interference. I'm not sure what's causing that. Might be a cell tower nearby that's just acting squirrely today. Well, anyway, not a lot of signals out there today to play with, but I wanted to show it off. It's a really cool radio. Not something I'm likely to keep long term, but it's certainly something I'll play with up here at the studio for a while before passing it on. So yeah, if you ever had a DX200, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this particular one. I think I would say I prefer either the 100 or the 300 to this, just because of the complexity of trying to get everything just right. But, you know, sometimes that's part of the fun of shortwave, is this getting the antenna trim, getting the sideband clarifier locked in, getting the gain just right. So, and then of course 15, 20 minutes later, the way that the industry works, or the way that the radio waves work, it just kind of fades out, or they stop transmitting. Anyway, a cool video from a cool era in shortwave radio history. Till next time, my friends, take care.